So we started a new series, and we started a series that we're actually going to carry on through the rest of this year. And that series is called Uncovered God. So we talk a lot about God in here, and honestly, you probably hear your friends or TV shows or people around the world. We're always talking about God or some kind of higher power, trying to better understand who God is and what God is about. And we talk in here in HSM and at Cassis about our identities and our identities being found in God, that we were created by God, that God knows us the best. But I had this thought that if we're always talking about who God says that we are, there might be a part of us that still doesn't totally know who God is, that we don't necessarily trust who God says that we are if we don't know who God is first. So we're going to do a series throughout the year called Uncovered God, where we're going to take a look at different characteristics about God that the Bible shows us, but also that we see through Jesus Christ. And the reason for that is time and time again, the Bible tells us that Jesus is the clearest visual we ever have, the clearest experience we have of God on this earth. In fact, in a part of the Bible that's called John, it's one of the Gospels that's about Jesus's life here on this earth, his ministry, his miracles, who he said he was. John, at the beginning, tells us, in the beginning of the world, the existence, the beginning of everything, the Word already existed. And in that sentence, Jesus is the Word. And he says Jesus already existed. Jesus was with God and Jesus was God. We don't entirely understand that. It's mystic and it's deep and it's special, but it's telling us Jesus has always been present and Jesus was with God and is God. And he continues and he says, he's existed since the beginning. So the Word, Jesus, became human and made his home among us. He came and he lived with us. And he was full of an unfailing love and faithfulness. And we have seen his glory, the glory of the Father and the glory of the Father's one and only Son. So when we see Jesus Christ, when we read the Gospels about his life and his ministry, it is showing us the glory of God also. So we're going to take in this series, we're going to look at Jesus. How did Jesus treat people? How did Jesus talk about people, to people? What relationship does Jesus have with God? Like, how does he pray? How does he describe God? Because that is the clearest, most honest and true representation we can see of different characteristics when it comes to God. And there's two reasons for this. Well, there's a lot of reasons we'd want to look at who God is. But two of them that we've talked about is one, it helps us understand the truth of God. When we go throughout our lives, say when you go to college and you take certain classes, you make new friends, people make a lot of statements about God and who God is. People say a lot of times that God's speaking to them or they think they know what God wants for your life. But what if you don't know God? It's so hard to discern what is or isn't him. So if we take the time to ground ourselves and look at who God is, what is he like? How does he treat us? We might better know when people are telling the truth about God. We might be able to better discern truth about him. But also, as we've been saying, John goes on and says, God created everything through him. God created everything through Jesus, through the Word. And nothing was created except through him. That Word, Jesus, gave life to everything that was created, and his life brought light to everyone. So if he created us, everything, all of us, the person sitting next to you, your family, your parents, you, anyone you'd ever dated, everything, Jesus gave life to all of it. My guess is Jesus knows us really, really well. Therefore, God knows us really, really well. We talk about our identity. Who are we? How do we answer the questions about our worth and our purpose? And the Bible so clearly states that God created us and God wants to tell you who you are and help you live out of that truth instead. So we're going to take some time this year in Uncovered God to get to know God better, that we might better know ourselves also. And the other thing we're going to tack onto this series every single week is we're going to have what we're calling a physical practice or spiritual discipline, because we need to get our bodies physically involved in the spiritual journey that we're on. They're not two different things, like our spirit and our soul versus our physical body. They're one. So we're going to make sure that we're experiencing this whole journey of discovering God along with our physical bodies. So the first physical practice or spiritual discipline we're gonna do is sleep. And I know that sounds weird because some of you are like, dude, I sleep well. But honestly, we get so busy and we stay up so late, maybe playing video games, and our normal routines have been so disrupted right now with not being physically in school. So we can kind of forget that sleep is important, but it runs everything. How we treat people, how we think about ourselves, it's just all of our attitudes and come from sleep. And a healthy sleep helps us to better live our lives and better discover who God is and have a clearer mind. So what I challenge high schoolers to do, and I'd love if you participated with us online, is the practice of sleep. 3 nights this week, intentionally set a time so you can be asleep, or at least in bed trying to be asleep, for 7 hours. That means set a time that you're going to bed, set a bedtime. It means turn screens off of several minutes before you're getting ready to go to bed so your brain can start to relax. And just try really hard to find some kind of practice that helps your body get ready for sleep. That might mean journaling your thoughts so they don't run rampant and keep you awake. It means maybe reading. It means turning off the TV. It might mean doing something really relaxing like yoga or something like that. But be really intentional 3 nights this week about trying to get at least 7 hours of sleep and see if that changes your attitude and how you're physically present every single day. All right, I'll see you guys soon.